our anchorage is down there where the broken up rocks offshore are. That's where we were last night. We're gonna go around the northern point of Belle Isle here. We're gonna check out a popular anchorage first. We probably won't go there now. Tom and I may go there in a couple days. This coastline is so dramatic, it's just beautiful. We're gonna go over to mainland France at Quiberon to drop our friends off with their wives. Spend a little time with some friends, and then Tom and I will head out for our summer of exploration. Hello, Karen and Tom welcoming you to our Life 4.0, where we explore this amazing planet one anchorage at a time.
This video was part of a series where we start from the northwest corner of Spain and go all the way up to the Swedish and Finnish archipelagos in the Baltic Sea.
Our first challenge was crossing the often tempestuous Bay of Biscay to land on and explore the beautifully rugged Brittany coast of France. We continued northeast along the English Channel, first along the north coast of France, including the historic and charming Channel Islands, then along the south coast of England.
After rounding the white cliffs of Dover, we spend too little time in Belgium and the Netherlands before making a beeline for the Kiel Canal and the entrance into the Baltic Sea. We hop along the north coast of Germany before turning sea roads north to explore the amazing Swedish eastern coast.
Our furthest reaches found us in Turku and Hanko, Finland. What a wonderful part of the world. We hope you enjoy. This coast is just so gorgeous. It's rock croppings, these little haystacks all over the place. There's a boat sailing out of here. Looks like at least 3 boats were in here last night, and this is the beginning of May, so pretty energetic crew of sailors along this French coast. There's a fishing boat over here. This is really gorgeous. Hikers up on the hill there. Sailing by. Oh, some more hikers up on the hill over there too. This is really beautiful. Tom, is that the anchorage? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's pretty neat. We've seen some pictures, some drone footage of people with tons of boats in here tied side to side, where you anchor on one side and the rock is turning around. We're not going to stay here now. We may come back. But pretty cool. You gotta be so protected when you're in there. All right, we're having a little rendezvous with our friends that helped us cross the Bay of Biscay before we say goodbye to them. We are in the town of Auray, up the Auray River, and amazed at how all of these boats moor bow to stern, tucked all in here together. So yeah, what a cute town. All right, this is a really cute area. There's a walkway that heads up there. Some traditional boats. The water goes in through underneath this bridge. So these are some traditional boats, and they are drying out. They have these little struts that can hold them on the mud. And around here, tons of boats dry out on a regular basis. We spend a couple days exploring the cute towns on shore and refilling our fresh food stores. Then we head off. There's a regatta here this weekend, and this is one of the boats that's out practicing. It's foiling. It's going about 13 knots. It's a 30-foot vessel, and it's just beautiful when it's underway. Saw a bunch of them out yesterday, all different kinds of sails, and it was pretty neat. We've got our sails up. We are heading up this channel into the Gulf of Morbihan in Quiberon Bay. It's the Brittany region of France. And it's, we think we're gonna have a little current with us. The tide has turned and it's starting to go in. We definitely wanted to catch it right because we could have had like 4 knots of current against us. So anyway, this is a really cool inland sea with, they say, up in the Gulf of Morbihan, there could be as many as 50 islands. So we're excited. This is the rest of the Bay of Quiberon. There's tons of sailboats out, even though it's early May. The air is brisk because the water's a little chilly, but it's pretty. We're in the Gulf of Morbihan, and there's all these fish steaks over here. I don't know. I think the stakes are to keep you out of the mud flats. And it appears as though this area might be a place to like grow seaweed or something. So interesting area. When we first came in here, all we saw were these stakes. We knew there was a mud flat here, but we couldn't tell that the stakes didn't go all the way across and that there's actually a channel right through this area. So yeah, it's a cool area. We're just anchored off this small island. Don't remember the name of it right now. But over here again, it looks like they're growing something. Maybe oysters, maybe seaweed though. It just seems like piles of green grass. We'll take our dinghy over later and check it out. Actually, it's gonna be covered later. So, you can almost watch the water cover this. Our first night on the boat after our friends depart. It'll be just the two of us for a while now. So we have an interesting situation. We have, we used a anchor buoy to mark our anchor and then to be able to retrieve it, a little trip line. And as you can see, it is all wrapped around this thing. So it caught our anchor up upon our anchor. So when we raised our anchor chain with it. And now this thing's all tangled around. We're trying to get it unhooked. We lifted the anchor up because it literally had chain wrapped around it a second ago, but we lifted the anchor up to hold that in place. And we're basically, you know, our anchor's off the bottom, and I keep looking at where we're sitting in this anchorage because there are a lot of obstructions. But, you know, we're not moving too much. I keep going back and checking it out. But Tom is trying to get everything untangled over here. Yeah, it's quite a mess. This is one of the reasons we hate using trip lines. I mean, we certainly don't want to lose an anchor, and we don't want to get it stuck underneath a rock. But, you know, there are so many problems with using a trip line that you just got to wonder if they outweigh the benefits. We'd love some comments from people on, you know, things they do different. You know, this was just out there fine in the evening, and this morning as tides went in and went out, we turned around it and, oh, wow, see, our chain is all, yeah, yeah. So take it up a teeny bit. It almost seems like you got to drop the anchor at this point and let it.
Well,
but it's wrapped around the rope. So yeah, I just adjusted the boat again. We were dragging toward a shallow area. I'm not dragging, but drifting. And Tom used the boat hook to grab more of the line. And he's just trying to get it untangled. Pain in the neck. Looks like it. There's only one wrap. Yeah, so. Okay, I can pull it in here then. All right, pull the rest of it in. Great. Okay, so now we should be able to drop the anchor so it's not weighed and it's out of the way. And, oops. And then relift it back up. Yeah, we just tied a rope around it and secured it. There we go. And there goes the anchor. So this is where we were. We're in between a whole bunch of mud flats and shallow areas. So, but we were lucky that it was almost slack tide. So really nothing was moving. We were able to sit pretty still. Earlier, the water is just flying past the boat.
All right, we are progressing up the Gulf of Morbihan, the French coast, Brittany coast, and it's really kind of cool. It reminds us a little bit of some of the interior bays in Maine. Beautiful homes along here, and a lot of these tour boats plugging along. We're going up in this narrow passage up here. Some of the areas are extremely shallow. Some are deep enough for us to get through, and as we get up further up in the bay here, the Gulf, it gets very tricky. We can't go too far, but there's tons and tons of boats. You can see a harbor there of boats. Yesterday when we anchored just off of this busy passage, and there were boats sailing up and back and down, even though there was 2-3 knots of current. And so a very avid area for boating here. We knew the French were really into sailing, but it kind of hits home with you directly when you see how many people are out. And this is early May. Yep, there's a little, actually, school of little sailing boats there as well. Headed out for class. Another one on the beach there, another area. So yeah, it really hits you home clearly that to show how much the French really love sailing. There's just so many boats out. We were out in the wider area off the coast here near Quiberon yesterday. Light wind day, tons of boats sailing. You look on the horizon, there's just boats everywhere. It was just really fun to see. Sometimes I feel like when you're sailing in the U.S., you're kind of an anomaly, and it's they talk about the industry kind of aging out. A lot of older people sailing, but not a lot of younger people going in, at least buying new boats. So it's neat to see a country here that's really into sailing and shares our passion for spending time on the water. Also makes it easy to find boat parts when you're ashore, so that's good. Passing through the Narrows here. This is an area called named Port Blanc, and we're gonna get a mooring ball hopefully up here, or anchor if we have to, but the mooring field comes with a launch service, so we're gonna try that. And nice homes along here. All these boats all over the place in this interior sea, Gulf of Morbihan. And this is an island. Place I showed before was a mainland. This is an island, and apparently it's quite nice to visit. There's a short ferry that comes across from the landing over there, and here you can see a ferry getting ready to pick up some people. So we'll see if we can find a mooring ball here and go ashore and do a little exploring today.
If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notified of new videos. Join us next time as we explore Île à Morbihan by bike and then head further into the Gulf for one final night in this beautiful inland water playground.
I like this coastline and its fragrant flowers and the offshore swells that kept us up for hours. And I like the strong winds that rock us close. Whole world around us changing like two smiling shadows. And I was born beneath these stars. I like where we're going, 'cause we're going far. When, oh, when our journey ends, another will begin. It's forever and never again. It's forever and never again.